welcome everyone. It is the regular city council meeting for Monday, February 26th. It doesn't feel like February 26th, but it is 2024. I will call the meeting to order. If we all stand up and say the pledge of allegiance, please. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call, please, Cheryl.
J.T. Thompson?
Yes.
Matt Peterson?
Yes.
Adam Ryder?
Yes. Okay, let's go down to approval of the agenda. Do we have any changes or comments, questions with anything? Are we good with that? If not, I will ask for a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Motion to approve the agenda.
Second?
Second.
And roll call, please.
J.T. Thompson?
Yes.
Matt Peterson?
Yes.
Adam Ryder?
Yes. Okay, number 5, citizen public comments. Did we have anybody?
Yeah, I just have a couple questions on the,
He's here for the
For the
Amos.
Street. Okay, we're gonna have a public hearing in a little bit down the
Okay.
down the agenda, so that'll be your time. So that work. Okay. Unless there's anything else, I will ask. We'll go down to 6. Skip that. The consent agenda. Again, anything, questions, comments, concerns with anything on there?
So building permits, you and Tim both looked at them, good on everything there,
Yep.
fall in line with.
We're good to go.
Okay.
That was my question. So.
All right, I will ask for a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to the consent agenda.
Second? Second. And roll call, please.
Matt Peterson?
Yes.
Adam Ryder?
Yes.
J.T. Thompson?
Yes.
Okay, number 8, public hearing on plans, specifications, form of contract, and estimated cost for the city of Preston, Amos Street reconstruction 2024 project. So I will ask for a motion. I need a motion to open the public hearing. Okay. I need to ask for a motion to open the public hearing.
I'll make a motion to open the public hearing.
Second.
Second.
And roll call, please.
Adam Ryder?
Yes.
J.T. Thompson?
Yes.
Matt Peterson?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so, yeah, I guess whoever wants to go first.
yeah, I just got a pretty simple question. So I see in this letter that one isn't actually addressed to my property, although it's got my name on it, so I'm not sure if we've got just my address wrong somewhere in the books, but it doesn't go to my P.O. box.
Okay.
I see then there are 3 ways to pay this, and yet no way for those of us who can't actually pay this. Because, I mean, for my property, it'll be about $2,000. If I had $2,000, I'd have a working furnace.
So, I guess just so a little history. So the city has done this, and other cities have done this as well.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, it's a way for the city to help offset the costs a little bit for the project.
Mhm.
It's not, it's not by any means a huge chunk, but it is something.
I get it's not going to reflect the total cost. That would be silly if a curve reflected the total cost.
Yeah. So those 3 options, I guess, is what we've done in the past, and ultimately, there's a payment plan option 2, or ultimately it will come back on tax time.
Okay, so this is sort of a one way or another you're paying for it and deal with it. Gotcha.
Yeah, and again, I know it's hard, but I'll use myself as an example. I mean, I don't know how many years ago it was. I live on Amos Street, towards the up towards the north. And when they did the block, I don't remember all the streets around it. It would have been Amos and
Grand Farm.
yeah. I don't have there's 4 houses on my block, so I would have had one section that, and I got caught in the same thing, at that time. So again, I understand, I completely understand where you're coming from, but it's not new, we're trying to help offset the cost, you know.
I'm
We
aware that.
appreciate you coming up.
I can see in there where this is derived from, which I understand that you gotta do something to pay for it. I do wonder, why is it not paid for by taxes? In general, like, you know, the whole city is paying for a public road, why is that not what pays for this?
Well, again, you know, I don't know what percentage of it is that is paying for the project. Reiterate, you know, it's not new, we've done in the past, it's just to help offset that cost, to be able to fund more projects.
Yeah.
And it's hard when you know, live in a part that doesn't have that, you know, I get it, you know. Like I said, been there myself, it's just we're trying to help fund the project and be able to do more with dollars.
I understand trying to fund the project. It's just a large burden on some of us who really can't handle an extra large burden.
Understood.
Yeah, we totally understand that, and, you know, we're sympathetic towards that. But again, I guess we're looking at big picture here, you know, trying to, you know, that's, you know, going back to why we're in these positions. We're here to try to do the best we can for the city of Preston and make it the best place we can. And this is, you know, a project that we've, kind of been talking about for a number of years, and this is, you know, we're finally getting to the point to do it, so. Yeah, totally understand where you're coming from. Yeah, we're sympathetic, but yeah, it's a decision, you know, of council we've made, so.
Yes, I'm aware it was already made, and there's really nothing I can do about it at this point. I just don't see how a curb is gonna help me at all.
Do you own your property?
I am the one who's paying for it, yes.
Okay. Yeah, so the goal is, with that, is to help your property costs with the new street, if you would ever go to sell it, you know, versus what it is now. That's the objective there, is to increase value on your property.
And it's not just that, you know, but it's storm sewer, you know, it's getting rid of the runoff water. You know, if you go down that area now, you know, you've got a lot of low areas and puddles laying down in there.
Putting anything on Amos Street will not affect the water that flows down that road into my yard.
Well, maybe not in your yard, but it'll affect things in a lot of other people's yards. You know, there's a lot of problems with water down there, so I'm not sure
Well, yeah,
exactly.
we're on the bottom end of the hill down there.
Your location is, but there's a lot of issues with water
Yes,
down
yes.
there and standing water, you know, so, go ahead.
Yard
And
is
you
one where
guys
it's all
had
standing.
also made the decision to add sidewalk through there, so.
Public safety, yeah, get sidewalks put down there, because, you know, that Amos Street, there's a lot of people walking on there. Almost anybody that walks through town walks on that, and everybody's on the street. You know,
There's a
it's
decent amount of traffic there.
very narrow down there, you know, by the apartments and stuff down there with the traffic and the cars. So we're trying to get somewhere where people can get off the street, get on a sidewalk, and help the public safety. So public safety, you know, water runoff, stormwater, all those above. So it's more than, you know, if you're looking at the aesthetics of a curb, it's way beyond that.
Yeah, I figure that there is going to be some kind of mechanical necessity for it, but
Yeah.
just not seeing how that's gonna actually help me in any way.
Yeah, well, I think,
Gonna
if you look at the
control
big
water,
picture, if you look at the big picture, it
me.
will. You know, and then there's not, you know, we're trying to, our goal is to have everything in the city limits in Preston to be curb and gutter someday. That's what we're working on.
I will admit that does sound like a nice thing. I just feel as if that should be the community's problem, not an individual landowner's problem.
Again, it's both.
Well, of course, it's both. I do have to still pay the taxes that would go into the community's taxes, which
Right.
should be paying for a public roadway.
Is there a way that it could be extended longer, smaller payments for a longer period of time?
What do you have in mind, Carol? I mean, what are you thinking?
Well, I don't know, it used to be years ago, but I mean, to help somebody out, you know, make smaller payments might work better.
As it stands, the smallest payment that I can see, based on what they've written, is about $200 a month, give or take.
Yeah.
Which that actually uses up the extra $200 that I have altogether.
Would that, how many years would that be then?
That's 1 year.
Maybe extended 5 years maybe, or,
I could see that making it easier on a person. my opinion is it's still not fully right, but I could see that making it easier on a person.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that we're, you know, we're open, you know what I mean? We're not here to hardball anybody. You know, if it's absolutely cannot happen, I would suggest you come into City Hall and maybe we can work something out, you know, talk to Cheryl or Tracy and, you know, maybe we can figure something else out.
I guess the biggest thing is our bills will be due before those 5 years, you know what I'm saying?
Oh,
And
yes.
where the money's gonna come from in the meantime is, I guess, would be.
Not take 60% of my taxes to a school that doesn't need it. That would, kinda help the city actually do city stuff. But that is legitimately all I've got. I'm pretty much getting everything I expected out of this with just a little bit of extra information. It's good so far, so I'd say that's it for me. If we've got nothing else, I'm good on that. I'll just have to show up to the city and see what we can come up with. I will just have to do that.
Carol, did you have anything?
Me?
Yeah.
Not specifically, I'm not in favor of sidewalk on my side of the street. There's none there now. There's a sidewalk on the other side of the street, so, I'm not sure sidewalks will solve the problem of people walking on the street, but you only see, you don't tell.
Yeah.
They still walk across Harley Street on the street, and some of them use the sidewalk, some don't.
Yeah, and we talked about that, Carol. We talked about, you know, one side or the other. You know, as Matt mentioned, there is a lot of traffic down there, you know, foot traffic.
Yeah.
And there is room there to add a sidewalk. So, you know, that is a goal too for the council and myself, you know, is to, that's one thing we've heard a lot of the last few years is sidewalks around town are bad shape, you know, or missing sidewalks here and there. So that is, you know, we figured while we're doing a project like this would make the most sense. If we're gonna add a sidewalk, now would be the time to do it.
There are a lot of streets that don't have sidewalks on either side of the street. and
Well, that's what we're trying to address,
There.
though.
Yeah, and that's what we're trying to solve, you know, and so like I said, with a project like this, you know, we figured now would be the time to do that. You know, would make the most sense.
You're gonna put a sidewalk on School Street?
The goal would be to in the future.
Eventually, yeah, hopefully that's, yeah, absolutely, yeah, yeah.
I think I'll let them see that.
No, that's why we got like the sidewalk, you know, program to help with, you know, fixing sidewalks and stuff. The city tries to help, with some of that. We're trying to improve, you know, sidewalks. That's been something that's come back on a lot of our surveys in the city is we're focused on sidewalks. So again, like just Tyler said, when we have a project like this, we wanna make sure to incorporate that into it. Just like, you know, just like you guys down on that street, that the people that walk and I've raised my kids down there and everybody being on the streets and stuff like that. Will it hurt everything? It won't probably. You'll still have people on the street, but I sure encourage my kids to get on the sidewalk and get off the street, you know?
Do the people use the sidewalk in front of your house, or do they use the street in front of your house?
Well, because they're already on the streets, they don't jump up on the sidewalk.
They should.
You know, if we can have a sidewalk hopefully right off the school street, we can get them on the sidewalk and stay on the sidewalk. Because you see a lot of the other streets where there is sidewalks on them continuous, they stay on the sidewalks. But when you're up and off on the street, I'd say no, people probably don't at that point. So, you know, the plan is here again, we'll have a sidewalk where you can stick on a sidewalk. Again, you gotta cross the street to get on another one, but hopefully you'll stay on the sidewalk and continue to do so. That's what we're definitely trying to encourage.
Yes, Ron?
So, as an outsider coming in, I mean, you have, what year did you begin with the curb and gutter and the sidewalks? And, you know, like, all those past residents have had to pay for theirs. You know, that's already implemented. So what is your goal? Do you have a written goal as to when you want the whole city done?
No.
No, we're not
No,
projecting out that far.
No, it's, you know, we have, we've done goal setting sessions, we have priority lists as far as streets goes and sidewalks go. But, you know, it's like everything, it comes down to money, you know, and when it's feasible to do it, you know,
I don't know when the first curb and gutter
feasible
went.
per the city to do it? So what is the city's incur, the actual street, half of the street or the street?
I'm not following you.
I'm
I
not,
guess.
what's your question again?
So, the residents don't pay for the street, correct?
No.
They pay
No.
for the curb and for the sidewalk.
No, not
It
the
just,
site.
just
It
occurred.
really, what was your total assessment per lineal foot?
Oh, what was it?
I can't remember what it was. Do you remember,
For
Karen?
everybody?
Just per linear foot, what was the number?
$20.36.
Yeah, so just the concrete for the, curb alone, you know, we're looking at $21 to $29, and that doesn't include the rock underneath it and all the work associated with it. So this is actually a very small portion of the project. I don't know what your total assessment you would bring in grand total from.
We figured it about 34,800.
34,000, so with a nearly $500,000 project, it's a very small portion of the total project, the actual assessment for the curb and gutter. So probably 5 or 6%.
What percent would you guess that the city has done and that has left to do?
Oh, it's hard to put a number on that just off the top of my head, but, you know, just historically, the cities tries to save up money in their road fund, and when they get, you know, in the ballpark of $500,000 or so, they start looking at prioritizing, you know, what would be the next project, and we go through planning sessions, capital improvement planning sessions, and kind of determine where the next area would be for the city to approve.
Wouldn't it help the residents if you were to actually have a plan as to, we want these all done by 2030, and have a budget for what the city needs per year?
It's just to do the amount of upgrades that the city would need to do to upgrade the entire city, it would probably be cost prohibitive. So it's gonna be a lot longer than 2030.
Well, that was just an imaginary number, but.
Yeah, and it, you know, what they're doing is not too far off of what you're suggesting, you know, they go through a planning session and determine the highest priority area to, develop next, and they start working towards that with their road use funds.
Yeah, we'd love to take care of all of it at once, but, you know, like Tyler said, I mean, it all comes down to money, and, you know, there's only so much for a project of that magnitude that you can put forth towards it.
I just think it would be a little bit easier on the residents' minds if they have a plan, if you have a plan in place that they can budget. Okay, we know that this is coming, so I need to budget for the next 5 years to get money put away, because they're gonna be coming to put curb on my street.
Yeah, and to be truthful, Rhonda, I mean, things change, priorities change, councils change, you know, every 2 years. So that's where things, you know, yeah, that's a great idea, and we've, you know, we've tried to do that with this council, is goal setting and capital improvement plans. But again, you know, it comes down to money, and then it comes down to priorities, you know, and things change, you know, that's just, I wish I had a crystal ball and could say, hey, 2028, we're gonna do the next street up, you know, but it's just not, you know, it's not that easy. I wish it was that easy.
Yeah.
And then we look at the places that, you know, that don't have curb and gutter, you know, we look at what's the highest cost to maintain, you know, and Amos Street is one of the higher cost, you know, streets to maintain without curb and gutter. With seal coating and keeping up on that, track levels and stuff on it. So that's, you know, that helps us push to why we're going where we are with the storm sewer, you know, issues and water runoff, congestion, you know, so that's why it got pulled to that more than it has other places in the area. Plus you have, you know, when you go to some other areas, you have not just storm sewer in the road, but you've got water and sewer, and your cost will triple, you know, if not more than that. It gets to be bigger projects. So you have to bite off chunks where you have the dollars and the funding's coming in to do it a little bit at a time. So yeah, we can't agree with you more that it would be great to do that, but it's just, it's unrealistic at this point to be able to come up with something like that. You know, because not only do we have, you know, street projects, but there's other money that comes out of there, whether that be a snowplow truck, you know, to help get the snow off, tractors, all that money has to come out of those departments too, and they can take precedence over, you know, street work at that time.
Did anybody else have anything?
What type of a service covering are you putting on? Cement or the?
Looking at blacktop.
Like bars?
Yeah, be asphalt.
Yeah.
It'd be an asphalt, it'd be a cement curb and then asphalt street.
Be like School Street.
It'll make your street quieter too.
Oh,
I noticed that once. we
Not as
did-
dusty and.
Yeah. We got the blacktop thing, street quieter.
Yeah, and then like I said, instead of that cost of seal coating every couple of years, you know, we can eliminate that cost. And it'll be up on one base. We don't have to keep doing that.
Okay, does anybody have anything else? Okay, well, thank you guys for coming in, appreciate hearing from you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, voicing your concerns, so. Okay, unless there's anything else, I'll ask for a motion to close the public hearing.
Motion to close the public hearing?
Second,
Second,
and roll call please.
Jason Thompson,
yes.
Matt Peterson,
Yes.
Adam Ryder.
Yes.
Okay, let's jump to 9, discuss and consider bids received for the Amos Street reconstruction 2024 project. The city has 4 option combinations to discuss, so Mark, I guess I'll let you kind of fill us in and update us on where we sit with everything.
Yeah, so, we opened bids for the project at 2 p.m. on February 20th, 2024, and we had a really good showing with the amount of contractors interested in doing the work. 9 bids were received for this project, and after reviewing the bids, but let me maybe, say just for the public record, there's 4 options. One is what's called option 1, and that's the Amos Street reconstruction from School Street to Farley Street. Option 2 is Amos Street resurfacing between Farley and Davis Street. And then option 3 is Farley Street reconstruction from Amos Street to the east end of that. So the minimum option to award would be option 1. You have the option to combine options 1 and 2, options 1 and 3, or options 1, 2, and 3. So for option 1, the low bid received was from Offset Construction for $357,343. Our engineer's estimate for that was $415,000. So that low bid is $57,657, or 13.9% below the engineer's estimate. For options 1 and 2, again, Offset Construction was the low on that. Their low bid was $402,503.50. That option was $68,496.50 below the engineer's estimate of $471,000, and that is 14.5% below the engineer's estimate. Options 1 and 3 together, when you do that combination, Eastern Iowa Excavating is the low. Their bid for that was $430,667.85. That is $72,332.15 under the engineer's estimate of $503,000 for that option. That's 14.4% below the engineer's estimate. And for all options combined together, the low bid of $484,252.85 is $74,747.15, or 13.4% below the engineer's estimate of $559,000. So if you go with the first two option combinations, which is option 1 or option 1 and 2, then you're considering offset construction. That was a new name for me. I'd never heard of them. They've been working for a couple seasons now out of Farley. I called Dick Anstetter and asked him about them, and called them and talked to them, did a little research. They're a couple guys named Jared Demmer and Roger Kress. When Horsefield sold out, they started their own business. Actually, they originally worked for Rich Ganson and actually did some work over here at the pond. And Rich was going to sell out to them, but they couldn't make that deal happen. And because they couldn't work out a deal with Rich, they decided to go into business on their own. And that's where they're at. We've worked with them a little bit out in Dyersville, and they did some excavation for a box culvert out there. We have confidence that they can complete the work. These gentlemen have been doing this sort of work for a while, and this isn't an overly complicated project. So I'm confident if you want to go for option 1 or option 1 and 2, you can feel confident in awarding to them. Eastern Iowa Excavating, they've been in business for quite a while, and they're more than capable of doing the work for options 1 and 3 or options 1, 2, and 3. Does anybody have any questions for me? Okay. Well, what we want to do then is consider which options you want to choose, and then we can move on to the next item and actually put together a resolution for awarding the contract for the option combination that you'd like to move forward with. I guess Cheryl, I don't know if you've kind of talked to him a little bit about how the funding works out
Yeah,
for
I
these.
guess, yeah, let's talk about that a little bit.
I did include in the packet, projected budget, how to fund it. Based on the award recommendation, the total project low bid through Eastern Iowa was the $484,000. In addition, we'll have a total of $130,700 in engineering cost. Brings the total project to like $615,000 here approximately. We have paid some of the engineering costs previously, and we anticipate applying, not guaranteed, for the Rural County Transportation Grant. That would allow us $25,000. And taking off the curb and gutter assessments, we may not collect it all in '25, but we're hoping to, of $34,815. Would bring the total cost for the project at balance at $505,000. This year we budgeted $533 out of our road use funds. We've already spent close to $149,000 of that. Leaves $184,300 left to fund the project this year. And the estimated revenues for fiscal year '23 and '24 yet to receive is like $40,750. And the estimated revenues we'll bring in '24-25 would be about $125,000. So bottom line, the estimated total road use balance, if we wouldn't spend another dime until the end of fiscal year '25, would be like $750,000. So our thinking was we should be able to fund that project with full options for out of road use between this year and next year's finances. We do have to take in consideration other projects that are funded by our road use, like seal coating, crack seal, sidewalk replacements, other street patching things, so.
Yeah, and we, we have spent a decent chunk out of there, in this fiscal year budget, with a couple of projects, decent sized projects down in
For
Midget
street
Street.
patching especially.
Yeah.
Well, that's been part of our plan too, is to do a
Right.
bunch of those things, get the seal coating caught up, so we could do a project like this and get by a couple years out having to patch and do some seal coating.
Yeah.
That we got to the point where we can
set aside those funds for those things. Total expenditures estimated for budget year, fiscal year 24-25 would be like 610,000. So that would still leave us some money in road use for other things, if we did fund the full project.
And I think your dollar amount in there for street patching and stuff is good, because even though, let's say we don't go after projects like we're talking about not doing, we still have a water main break and things like that we have to do that, those dollars still need to be there for something.
Well, I don't know if those come out of Tim's budget or they come out of street budget, I don't know, or the road use budget, where them come out of.
Well,
Well, if you, if we,
the water main would come out of water sewer.
Yeah.
And
But
then
patching
The
would.
patching, the patching of the street.
It could come out of both, you know, like
okay, it could be something
Shared.
in there.
shared expenses. So,
I guess, everybody's thoughts, I guess, throw them out there. Like Mark said, they did come in, the numbers came in, better than we were hoping.
Oh, yeah.
So, with that being said, I mean, I guess I'm shooting for option D. Let's do it all in one crack and do it right.
Well, that's where I'm at, that's where my goal, I guess, the whole time we've been talking about this, to be able to do it and do it right, and then we can move on to the projects after that, that this one's, done correctly, and everybody in the area sees those improvements and move forward. So I would be, for option, the D, is that what is the fourth option, 1, 2, and 3?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was D.
That's eastern Iowa, right, Mark?
Now, that's eastern Iowa, that's correct.
So you're confident with them too? They've been in the business a long time.
Oh, yeah, they're very competent.
What did we have for, do we have a late start date, or what did we have, Mark? What was our start date and stuff?
There is no start date, so to speak, but you have to have the project completed by, October 4th.
October 4th or 5th.
That was thinking.
We wanna make sure the seeding got done within the seeding window.
And then have you talked to Eastern Iowa, right? They're,
I did not
Oh, you
talk
did
to
not?
Eastern
Okay,
Iowa.
okay.
Nope, I talked with Offset because
Okay.
they were an unknown to me.
okay, that's fine. I didn't know if you had talked to them
No.
and seen what their workload was looking like for the summer. Okay.
Yeah.
Adam, any thoughts?
I mean, I would agree, I think D probably makes the most sense for dating into this, I mean, you might as well take care of all of those pieces.
It's never good, it's cheaper to do it all at one time than have to come back in and do it later again. And even if they're in town and mobilized down to that area, it gets a different, still more cost.
Yeah, and I mean, projects of this magnitude, I mean, as we've seen the last few years, they just continue to balloon exponentially, that's not gonna change, I don't think.
It's just hard for cities and counties to get their roads repaired up what things cost. But you gotta continue improving stuff. This is our next project. So I agree, I think we're gonna do it. This checks every box. Office ladies are comfortable with that number, correct? Just to make sure. You're comfortable with the numbers and all that? Okay. And Mark's confident with the project, so I'm with that too.
Okay, this is any other discussion needed, I will ask for a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve the Amos Street reconstruction project with options 1, 2, and 3.
Add an amount in there.
With an amount of, make sure I'm right here, $484,252.85 to Eastern Iowa Excavating and Concrete.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Matt Peterson,
Yes.
Adam Ryder,
That's,
J.C. Thompson.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, we'll get the contracts going with them and
Okay.
get this, try to find out when they might wanna start, and I'll be in contact with you guys about that, and we can go from there. Is there any other agenda items you wanted me to stick around for?
I don't think so.
All right, well, you guys have a good night.
Okay, thanks, Mark.
Thanks, Mark, appreciate all your help.
You bet, thanks. Here.
Okay, number 11, discussion on selling, vacant city lot. Rhonda Eicher is here, and she is interested in the Edwards property, what was known as the Edwards property.
That one over there?
Yes,
Oh, okay.
yep. So I guess, Ron, if you've got anything to say or wanna kind of just tell us what your plans are, I guess, you know, for the lot.
I just see it's a empty lot owned by the city, and I was interested in putting a residential home there with garage attached. So, I didn't know if you had plans for it, or what you were doing with it.
I think we had plans, but we got other plans. I don't, we haven't really talked about that property.
The only thing we've done is we've had interest in it before, and haven't done anything with it because we want something built on it. You know, we didn't want to sell it just for green space, and it sits there again, so, to have somebody that wants to, you know, to build on it and move forward, I think is our goal, has been our goal, you know, that we can utilize that space, it's just not sitting there empty, and, you know, it does a lot of things, it helps our tax base and everything else, the more homes we get, you know, gas and sewer and water and everything, electric and everything included again, so those are definitely our goals, is growth in the community. I don't know that we have a price or anything on it, that's something we'd have to discuss yet. You know.
Yeah, and also, I mean, with tonight, with being down a couple of council members, we probably, and I told you this too, Ron, we won't make a decision on it tonight, we'll probably table it until the next meeting. But just to get the discussion started, and let you come in and kind of tell us, you know, kind of what your goal is, and, you know, we'll just kind of go from there, so. But yeah, same thing like Matt said, we've kind of just been sitting on it, haven't really had, a whole lot of, help with it, you know, we just kind of.
Well, we had the opportunity to get rid of that old house and,
Yeah.
clean it up over there, and then it's just kind of.
Yeah, we've kind of talked about a number of different things for that lot, but nothing's really come to fruition, so.
Yeah.
And I'm in favor of selling it if somebody would build something on there, you know, especially a house,
Yeah.
you know.
What's your time frame look like? What do you, just so we can, when would you want to build, and what's your time frame look like?
So I would go with a modular home. So I think, those are like 2-month wait or something. You know, it's not like you have to wait for Woody to come in 2 years, you know.
24, 25,
Yeah.
you would want to,
Yeah, this year.
this year, okay.
I did have one question though, and I don't remember, but it seems to me, if my memory serves me right, I wanna say that there was stuff buried. I
I
don't know.
think so.
The foundation was buried.
There's a trailer there before.
Well, the trailer would have been on
Trailer
the
on the other side.
trailer was on the other side by the church, you know.
Guys, I hope they would have dug that.
No, I'm pretty sure it was all dug out.
Well, if memory serves me, I think at least the basement was buried there. Maybe not above the,
I don't think so. We'd have to ask, I'm not sure who dug it. Was it
Was it Cundy?
I don't know.
I'm not sure, you remember who dug it out of area? Probably before your time.
I'm pretty sure Cuddy did it, and I did ask him if he remembered, and he said it was been so long ago, but he was pretty sure he took everything away.
Yeah, I remember it being done. I remember having a conversation with the bank when they were the ones that did it all and stuff like that, but I can't say for 100% sure, but I would say more than not that it was completely, excavated and filled back in.
when I talked to Cundy, he said he couldn't remember.
So we don't know.
I guess there's no guarantee, but I would definitely say that it is. We wouldn't, I guess it wasn't our project.
Were you thinking
We're
of
not
have a
the ones who tore it
basement?
down, but.
Yeah, I don't know. So, I'm hoping it's not the basement stuff.
Yeah, I don't think it is.
I don't think it is either, but I don't want to say that.
Yeah, I don't.
Well, we put this on the agenda for next time.
Yeah,
Just
so
talk
we'll
about-
table this, and then we'll talk, and try to come up with a dollar amount, and then we'll let you know on that, and then if you wanna come back to the next meeting, or whatever it is you wanna do, however you wanna handle it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, we'll decide.
Thank you.
Yep, thanks, Rhonda. Okay, so let's jump down to 12. Proposed tax rate levy, discuss and consider approval, setting public hearing date of March 25th, 2024, for the proposed tax levy. So, I don't know if there's any discussion needed with it.
We just need to set that.
I guess Cheryl.
Well, I did kind of want to review the tax levy where, I've kind of proposed things, did I put that in the packet? Oh, let's see. The top portion of this, shows our consolidated general fund levy. This is the new, 810 per se, compared to other years before the new, laws came into play. The city of Preston is above the 810 limit just for the fact that our, valuations, our growth was low. So we, can stay at, our base rate is gonna be like $8.37. As in the past, we have levied for, support of local emergency management. We need the amount necessary to fund that through the tax levy is $3,085. New this year, I've proposed to add $37,600 for our liability property insurance through EMC. That is the portion of the cost for insurance for just the general fund portion. So of all the properties and liability, just the general fund portion of that is estimated to be about $37,600. There is levy for the ag land, that's minimal. We've also levied in the past for FICA, ICRs. Since our general fund levy is at the 810, we can levy for those for the non-proprietary, which means anyone that is paid out of the general fund, meaning part of the administrative, police, our streets budget, library, any general fund, we can levy for that amount as needed. And other employee benefits, same thing, is our health insurance and life insurance and work comp for the non-proprietary. So all of those levies combined that we're looking, and also in addition, our debt service levy we've levied for in the past. Mainly we levied for the fire truck loan, and this year, due to the lack of sale of lots in Harvest Heights, I proposed to add a little bit into the debt service. But bottom line, the total levy would be $12.22. Compared to last year, we levied at $10.99. That sounds like the tax rate would be going up. But actually, with the rollback, I know it's a lot of terminology that no one really understands, including me, but I reached out and to explain it, I guess, this $12.22 is what we would put out for the public hearing. And we always wanna go a little high when it comes to that, and if we find out, council decides we don't really wanna go that high to levy for, we can always go down, but this kind of takes place as a max levy was last year. But if we do look at the valuations, a home valued at $1,000 with a rollback last year, they were taxed on, instead of a full, they weren't taxed on the full $100,000, it rolled back to $54,130. So at our tax rate last year, which was at 1099, the homeowners with a home valued at $100,000, they paid $595 in taxes for the year. So with our proposed tax rate levy of $12.22, the new rollback decreased, that same house gets taxed on only $46,340. So evaluation to the property tax owners would be $566. So the amount that is charged to the homeowners, even at a higher rate tax levy, would still be less than what they paid last year because of the rollback.
Gotcha.
So if it looks like, oh, we're raising taxes, we're technically not. The rollback is basically percentage of the assessed property value that is taxed on. So you have your assessed value, so everybody knows their tax value assessment went up on everybody's home. But we don't tax on the full assessed, it rolls back, by that rollback percentage. So at 46.34% is the rollback percentage. So it actually means we get less on those assessed values.
How long is the rollback? How long does that stay into effect?
That I can't answer.
Just trying to remember.
I know the residential's at 90%, and then they've capped the first 150,000 for commercial, and then anything over and above that falls back to what the residential rollback is. And it's kind of complicated for me to understand, but I had some help going through this, and felt back at 12/22 was a good starting point to set the public hearing date and just kind of talk about it a little bit. And we can always review it, like I said, we just wouldn't be able to go any higher than that, or,
Yeah, that's the biggest thing, yeah, once it's set, you can't raise it, you can lower it, but you can't
Yeah.
raise it.
As long as you're confident we have things covered, I think is a great place to start.
yeah, Kelly Brown with Jackson County Economic Alliance is, she's on top of her game when it comes to this, and she suggested always, going a little bit higher than what you think just to make sure. And since the numbers come in, it's not gonna cost any more to the property owners, I felt confident that it was a good starting point as well.
Well, we'll set the public hearing, and if the public's got more questions,
Yep.
then they can call City Hall, or they can come to the meeting.
And I wanted to review the timeline with these new rules too. Initially, I thought we were gonna probably end up having a special meeting just to set the property tax levy. But with working with Kelly, I did get it where I thought we're comfortable at setting it at this meeting. So the public hearing date, we would set the date of March 25th for that public hearing. And that way, I have to get these numbers in the budget system, and those go to the county by March 5th. So March 11th meeting would have been too late, and either that or we would have had to have a special meeting next week. But if we're okay to move forward, setting the public hearing at the rate decided, we'll have that at the 25th. It'll get published in the paper, and then it'll have time for the auditor to get out their required mailing that they have to do this year. That has to be out to the citizens on March 20th, and then they'll have the citizens get their mail, and then we'll have the public hearing following. So the earliest we could actually have the public hearing is March 25th. Would in order to get everything to fill in the timeline, that's, and
Basically,
publication requirements and everything, it has to be set that way, so.
So March fifth?
25th.
March 25th would be the
4
public
weeks from
hearing,
today.
and then I have everything sent to the county by March 5th.
Okay. That works for me.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, as long as we're meeting all of our deadlines, that's the biggest thing, so. Okay, is there any other discussion needed on any of the, tax rate levy?
No, I think that was a good explanation for our confusing system.
Yeah.
It's confusing to me, so if you can tell me what I just said, just like.
It's, yeah, it's confusing, taxes are confusing. You wouldn't think it was that tough.
Okay, so I will ask for a motion then to set the public hearing date of March 25th.
I'll make a motion to approve setting a public hearing date of March 25th, 2024 for the proposed tax rate levy.
Second,
Second?
roll call please.
Adam Ryder,
Yes.
Matt Peterson,
Yes.
J.T. Thompson.
Yes.
All right. Thank you, Cheryl. 13, American Rescue Plan, approve obligating funds. So in your packet, and we talked about this last meeting, but this is just kind of in writing. Different options, ideas, kind of a breakdown of where that could money, the leftover money can go. So I guess, Cheryl, if you got anything you wanna touch on here?
Yeah, we had already talked about, the remaining funds of 47,777.52. And we have pretty much, agreed that we would use, we have already used 16,000 of that for computer and upfitting for the police squad car. And kind of been going back and forth between Peppermint Park and the fire department. Landon came up with his list of priorities that he presented to council last meeting. So we can kind of list those out as the hose the 50-foot sections of hose. The biggest item was the radios at $10,050, and then the rest, and some turnout gear for the new police, or firemen, yes. And then any other equipment on his list, we, could obligate the remaining towards the fire department unless anybody, no one else has really said anything. And Peppermint Park's, budget kind of estimated what they're gonna need to complete the project. And what they currently still have in their funds, so. It looks like they're gonna be short about $7,819. But it left a little wiggle room on site work and sidewalks and stuff, so we feel that they can get the project completed with the 8,400.
It'd be nice to help them out with that.
Get it done.
Yep, finish it.
Yeah. That'd be a nice addition down there. But,
And they are doing their part in fundraising
Oh, yeah.
still this year, and they have some things in the works, so. I mean, the portal to actually put those numbers in the system for the American Rescue Plan isn't open till April. So I just kinda wanna keep that on our forefront, and if, anything else comes up in the meantime, we can change it. And hopefully either one of the 2 meetings in March, we'll have the resolution and finalize that. Just an update you there on that.
Yep, that works.
Yeah, I think that looks good to me.
Okay. All right, let's jump down to other business then. Electric department, I know this was brought up, I don't know if everybody's kind of aware, but Ray found a boom truck he's interested in. Eric, you got anything on it?
He's told me about it, that's about it.
Okay.
He
So,
just wanted to.
yeah, I guess Cheryl, you.
I guess he basically just just wanted to bring it up tonight, just say he did find this one. It's a smaller model from what we had. Our boom truck is ancient and this one is for sale, and as the time he, before he left on vacation, he did call them and it is still available. They, are asking 50,000. People, it's just a hard, I guess it's hard to sell used boom trucks, you know? Even though we wouldn't use it for lineman per se work, but we do use the boom truck quite often for tree trimming and,
Christmas lights.
Yeah,
Christmas
everybody,
lights,
anything.
flags every 2 weeks, it seems like. There's always a flag holiday, but I just kinda wanted to kick around the idea, see if it's something he can add to his list of potential purchases. Who knows, it may be gone by the time he gets back, or but he just wanted to bring it up for consideration, so. Looks like it's in good shape.
Ray called me too and told me about it, you know, and I encouraged Ray to, make sure we talk about it tonight, you know. One of those things we always wanna talk about when something like that comes up, but I threw some hard questions back at Ray too, the use of it, things like that, and just like Cheryl said, we don't use it so much for, linemen, we hire that out type of things, but we do use it for tree trimming, and there's a lot of things we use it for. And obviously ours is very old and obsolete. One thing I put pressure back on again in the Ray, and I'll do it to everybody tonight, is, to come up with I think we take our list of equipment, and prioritize that list, and I've said that for a few years now, for me to be able to back things like this that much more, is to have that list. I know that list will change, it's fluid, it'll change depending on what breaks down and what happens. But if there's 50 items that we have, equipment, even things we don't have but we wish for, I'll just throw out a skid loader, or a certain lawn, whatever, to have that in there and prioritize them 1 through 50, and give, a rating, whether that's 1 through 5 or 1 through 10, 10 being the best or 1 being the best, I don't care, but, rate what kind of condition it's in, the years, things like that. So, we as a council can have that active list, and we can say, hey, we should really be looking at, got brought up tonight, prioritizing and thinking ahead, and what are the things on our radar? What do we need to be looking at? Garbage trucks, police cars, all the things above, so we can pick up, so we can really be proactive on that and do it. So, again, I think, I'll encourage that we get that list put together, at least for me, just to help buy in and understand what our needs are out there.
I agree.
Yeah, and I have a list here, I actually dug through it, so this is the last time that I know of that we did something like that, and it's from 1/27 of 2020. So a lot of things have changed in those 3.5 years, 4 years. So.
Truck on there?
Huh?
Truck on there?
The boom truck is, yeah, it is, it's a 76 Chevy. And, yeah, it is. It was rated back then as old, but okay. So, I guess take that for what it's worth, but.
Yeah, because for 50,000, this is probably a pretty damn good deal. I mean, it looks like a really nice truck, and it's outfitted really well, But again, what's our priorities?
Right.
Yeah. Just out of curiosity, what year was that truck that Ray was looking at?
I don't know that he
I don't know.
told me.
Boy, if you did, I forgot to.
Yeah, I was just curious.
Yeah, I'm not sure either what it is.
I don't know.
I thought it was like 10 years old, wasn't it?
Something like that.
Is it automatic or is it manual? Can everyone drive it?
I don't know if he's even looked at it.
No, he didn't go up and look at it, he just had him send some pictures, got a look at the odometer and, I didn't even put that one in the packet, but it was, I think, in the packet.
I would imagine it is an automatic, if we were, I would assume it is, but don't quote me on that.
Yeah, I don't know. We talked about that either.
Who's on, well, you're on the electric committee, right?
And that's why he reached out.
Yeah. Well, I guess if the electric committee is saying, yes, I think we need this, and Eric, and it's, to promote our electric
talking to Ray, again, I mean, just like I'm saying, you know, do we have to have it? No. Would it be a great upgrade, and is it a good price? Yes, you know, but, then again, we just budgeted a pickup too, so what's the priority out of the two? I don't know that we buy both of them, so, you know, if the bucket truck comes over the pickup, which is rusting out and falling apart, you know, maybe so, but, again, I just think we need to think, you know.
Right, and that's why I go back to priorities, okay, so, you know, this is kind of something that kind of, I think, fell in his lap a little bit. And how often does a decent used, you know, boom truck like this come along, you know, versus you can go buy a pickup any year, you know?
Sure.
So I don't know, you know, that's, I guess, for.
Drive a pickup a couple more years. And
Yeah, that's, you know,
this.
I guess I'm kind of in that boat too, is I would like to see one or the other. I guess I would probably not lean toward both in the same year, but, you know.
But yeah, I agree, because, you know, another one might come up next week, and it might be another 5 years.
Right, exactly.
But it said you can buy trucks
On
on
my
that.
truck anytime.
Yeah,
Yeah.
can't go to a lot and get a boom truck.
Yeah, but if we, you know, again, I keep going back to it, and I apologize, but if you have that list, there's some things that we know are just gonna come up every so many years, you know, garbage truck, pickup, you know, there's some things that are used more often that they're gonna be there, and we can lay them out, whether those are 10 years or what they are, and we can have dollar amounts to that, we can kinda know where we need to go, where those extra funds can come from at times, you know? So when things like this do pop up, hey, it's on the list, you know, that we don't need another garbage truck for 10 years, we don't need the high priority things. Yes, we should jump on something like this, you know? But, you know, what shape are the snowplow trucks in, things that get used more often, you know, versus this. That was brought up a couple years ago too, and we haven't done anything, so.
I guess you look at what department's funding it too, and where the money, how much money they have, you know, I guess that.
Yeah, but
that
still,
plays a factor.
I agree, but we still, like the garbage truck we took out of some lot of electric to fund that, so.
Right, absolutely.
You know, and the electric makes money, and these other utilities make money, but like,
Some don't.
the fire department and the police department, they don't make home.
Correct.
They're nothing, so, you know, they have vehicles too, so.
Yeah, the departments like the electric department has the money you can take some from,
Yeah.
for sure.
I would might have more information on it, or, you know, Ray looking into it. I do agree with Tyler, maybe if, you know, if this is something you really want, gonna hold off on a truck, I don't know, I would might have more.
I think the information could be just as simple as an email, you know, get some more pictures of it, you know, what the engine is, what year it is, what, you know, what kind of transmission, just get all that kind of stuff first.
Well, I think when
Ask
he
the
gets
basic
back, he
questions.
probably would just like to hear if he has permission to go look at it, and if he would maybe consider not getting the new truck and getting this, if that's still a priority of his.
I think that's something to ask, and I think it's in general of all the employees getting together and say, what else are the priorities right now? And work on putting that together for us, you know, because if you say next year we're gonna need, you know, I'm just throwing things out there, a tractor and something else, then.
They were like, why do we buy it?
Needs and wants are two different things too.
Very much so.
Right, so yeah, I guess let's, you know, when you get time, let's update this again and get that.
Have a talk with Ray, everybody.
Yeah, talk to Ray when he gets back and just say, you know,
But how quickly, because we're gonna wait 2 weeks for the next meeting and let it go, or don't even, I mean, I'm just gonna anticipate what he wants, ask me.
well, I mean, to me, I guess it is that question, it's, you know, I guess, do you feel like this is something you would put ahead of getting a new truck for the electric department? you
Okay.
know?
Where's the
And
priority?
let it go
Where's
from
the
there.
priority at?
Yeah, exactly, let it go from there, he can make that decision, and then if it's, well, I'd like to have this
So all
instead
you
of a
guys-
truck, then I guess.
Yeah, and I'd
Get
like
more
to have the
information
opinion
from
of
us.
the
And
other.
I'd be more to jump on it more and be more proactive probably too, if we were doing a bunch of electrical with it, but we're hiring those things out, you know.
What are we gonna do in the future with that too?
With what?
When Ray's gone, what are our plans after that?
Oh, I think our plans are now, I mean, I'm just gonna go off what we had in the past, to try to hire a lineman quality person is very challenging, and the dollars you have to put towards that.
And are they
When
gonna
you
want
sit and run the
this truck?
numbers, it's cheaper, it was cheaper for us to hire those things out, you know? So to put a lineman on board, and then some of those dollars are spent doing other tasks besides that, it didn't That's
What is that lineman gonna want this truck? Or do you want that lineman to make that decision?
Yeah, those are questions too, I guess, you know, I don't,
If I don't wanna buy something the lineman not like it, 5 years down the road, they gonna buy another.
no, the linemen just might have to like it if we have it.
Right.
You know, I don't know that that's the line, that's just, it is what it is, you know? But I don't know that we, again, I don't know where that would go. I think our goal is right now is to not have an lineman or electrician in there, you know, just because of, they're so hard to find and maintain, and then, again, your time's not spent doing all that, you know, you're doing other tasks besides, and we can get a contract and hire those things out at this point, so. Not that that can't change, that perfect candidate might be out there next time, and we need to be open to that, but. You know, our goal has been right now is to try to, you know, as long as we have the right candidates and qualifications, promote within, things like that, so.
So I guess, is everybody okay if we kind of just throw it back on Ray? And
I think we throw it back on Ray, and if it's there at the next meeting, we wanna talk about it, we do.
Yeah. I'm good with that.
Yeah.
When's he back from vacation?
Next Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Next Tuesday?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, let's do that then, I guess you can decide. Sanitation job applications update. So I guess we need to consider interviews, date and time.
Yeah, so far we've received 2 applications. We do have taking applications up until March 1st. So our next meeting following that, wouldn't be until the 11th. So do we wanna maybe set some dates for potential interviews? Like on the next Monday night or whatever?
We don't have a set date with Elvis, do we? Just kinda,
He,
Sounds like next Tuesday, once Ray gets back.
what's that?
Sounds like next Tuesday when Ray gets back.
Is that it? Okay. Yeah, we don't wanna keep waiting then, you know, cause it's a lengthy process by the time we interview and we decide, and
Yeah, I'd like to see
they
you
give
guys
their notice, and,
post that or redo whatever on Facebook or whatever,
Refresh.
hey, these apps are due, maybe. we
Yeah,
can do
let's push that hard.
have you sent us the applicants? Do we have those?
Yeah, and hopefully these two are qualified good candidates, but, you know, I think more that come in, would be nice to choose from.
well, we've had 3 additional pickup applications that haven't turned them in yet, but,
Okay.
I don't know if it's quite the reason yet, but anyway.
So are we thinking just personnel interview these? How many, are we gonna do it
We did last time.
yeah, we did.
Personnel did it, then just came a recommendation.
Yeah,
Oh, is
then
that
Eric
right?
was in there, Eric was sat in.
Oh,
You
he was,
two, me
he
and
was a
Carol.
sanitation guy, yeah, okay.
That makes sense to me.
So, okay,
So I guess it's down to me and you, Matt. Tyler and Eric. I could do the 4th.
I can tentatively do it now, there's a good chance I might be gone, but I will know by the end of the week. Let's just set it that way as of now. With an alternative of, down the 11th again.
I mean, it doesn't have to be that.
It don't have to be
Monday.
that Monday,
It doesn't have to
does
be
it?
that week.
Yeah,
It could be,
any
it could
other-
be Thursday, I don't,
I'm open that whole week. That's right.
I'm open to, so.
Let's just plan on Monday night. Let's plan on it.
On the 4th?
Yeah.
what time?
6?
First one at 6.
Yeah, what, half hour or?
I guess it depends on me to get too, I mean.
You know, I think
I
last
just have
time
2
was,
now, right?
Just have 2.
yeah, I think last time was
3.
3, and I think it's 15, 20 minutes was about all we need.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, 6 o'clock will work.
That is if they both accept an interview.
Well, yeah, and I guess if something changes, if you get more applicants, let us know, we can,
We split it up.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I said
Yeah,
start
or we
at
can
6,
start
or we
earlier
just get
or
them done.
whatever, yeah, yeah. If it works, if it works.
What, can you do earlier, JT?
What?
Can you do earlier?
I could do a little earlier.
And you?
I can do 5:30, that's probably better.
Let's do
5:30.
Want to do 5:30?
Let's do 5:30. And if one of us is running a little behind, I can do 5:30. It'd be nice to start earlier.
Yeah, I agree.
And you did want Eric in there?
Yes, I would like
Okay.
to hear it. Just, I've never picked up garbage, so
Yeah.
I know there's more to it than what people think.
There's other things to talk about, what your other tasks.
There's other
daily tasks
jobs,
are,
yeah.
you know, your other obligations and expectations.
Instead of just picking up garbage.
Oh,
Okay, that works. March 4th it is. I guess let's jump down to the fire alarm. Cheryl can update us on the fire alarm panel.
what's going on with this thing?
Excuse me, well, yeah, first of all, the smoke detectors went off and it was discovered that, it was likely that, excuse me, like it was due to dust, there was no actual alarm, but when the person from Johnson Controls took a look at it, it was determined that it is not hooked up to a dialer for reporting to emergency, to the county. So, we're in the process of still getting, quotes on, and the control panel's been here since we built the building. So, we did receive one quote to upgrade to a new panel and, a monitoring service. It was a total of like $12,500. And, I in turn wanted to get an idea of what it would cost if it was possible to, you know, how imperative it was to have a new panel, or if our other old panel could handle it. And what is that quote? That dropped it down to like $4,500. There's a guy supposed to come tomorrow from another company that we are getting another quote from, as long as we're at it, to see if they can come in. We have Permar security for the light plant for burglar alarm. So we thought we would see if they'd come in and offer a quote. Plus the, person with Johnson Controls wants to come on site and take a look at what actually they're getting into. And I did receive a service agreement, because that cost did include, problem going with the old panel is we wouldn't have a service agreement, you know, for that work. So there's a bunch of ins and outs on it, and I'm still waiting for some more quotes and pertinent information in order to make a decision what we wanna go to.
And what's the $4,500?
That was to leave the existing panel,
If they can.
if it works, and then hook up a dialer.
To still be able to wire it so it can,
Yeah, but leave a wire, hook up a dialer to when the alarm goes off, would be that expensive. Simple as when the alarm goes off, dialer kicks in and calls 911.
Calls
Simple as that.
Yep.
That's not rocket science.
And I talked to Bryson, and Bryson says they should have everything they need here.
Can
Certainly
the
think
Phone
so.
lines and all that stuff, he says it all should be Ethernet.
Can the phone company put a dialer into it?
They don't, they're not security like that, are they?
I don't
They're
know.
not, are they 24/7?
I don't know if it's more to it. 'cause
No, can they
there's
put a
some-
dialer up to
No,
call?
you've got the system, you just need when the alarms go off that the dialer's alerted that it calls.
I think you have to know the schematics of the system in order to hook that up according to what they've been telling me. Whether it's
I don't
compatible
think-
to a dialer.
Yeah, I don't think.
Yeah,
I don't think
it's never that easy, I
I don't
get
think
it.
has the capability for the panel.
I mean, if one smoke alarm goes off, do they all go off?
Yeah.
So hook it into one.
I'm not a computer guy, but,
Ray went around and cleaned them all. It's gonna have to be a maintenance thing, and they haven't gone off since.
we went out Monday. When did Tim leave that note?
Last Monday.
That was last night before Ray cleaned them, so.
It's just hard to believe we can put a system in that's not hooked up.
That is,
For
how many years?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, next meeting we'll have a couple.
Hopefully we'll have some solid.
Yeah, it's better to learn about it now.
Yeah, then after that, for sure.
Okay, so that's where that's at, and then budget work, do you wanna do a budget workshop, or are we just gonna? Not new.
I just kinda wanted to go over the streets budget again, but We do have time, now that we've set the tax load, hearing, I don't know, I guess we can just take a look quick at our,
Do you wanna
No,
adjourn?
closing it.
Let's adjourn if
Oh,
if
okay.
you want to do that. Okay. Alright, so I will ask for a motion, to adjourn the council meeting.
Motion. Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second.
And roll call, please.
Matt Peterson,
Yes.
Adam Ryder,